Okay, we now welcome on one of our favorite guests, one of our favorite times of the year. It is Bracket Sunday. We have the man, the myth, the legend, Jon Rothstein in studio. He's got his bracket. He just took his bracket out of his suit coat pocket.
That's right.
We're ready to roll. This is March.
The month before April.
Well, I wanted to ask before we get into the bracket, thoughts on Tom Brady?
With the Patriots?
No. He unretired.
I thought he was always a Patriot.
He was on the Bucs last year.
He's on the Bucs.
And the year before.
He just unretired.
When did he go to Tampa Bay?
2
A
years
couple years ago.
Then he retired like a month ago.
Was this before or after Tim Kluse stepped down at Iona?
It was after. No. That was right around the same time.
Yeah, that's probably why you missed it, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Because, I mean, when you go to the NCAA tournament 6 times in 9 years out of the MAC, that's pretty impressive.
I know.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that about Tom Brady.
Unretired.
So he played in Tampa, and now he's going to play
back.
for the...
No, he's back in Tampa. He unretired. He stole Bracket Sunday from everyone.
Okay, well, not from me. I had no idea that he was in Tampa in the first place.
Okay, so there you go. That's perfect. All right, so...
Well, there's another piece of big news that I feel like we should address today, just by the way that the universe works via happenstance.
Yeah.
Barcoastal closed down today.
Yeah, it's a somber day. It's a sad day. My wife was there all day paying homage in a Pardon My Take sweatshirt.
Love it.
That's
And
very
just,
nice.
you know, it kind of felt like, honestly, the last episode of Cheers from what I gathered.
Yeah.
It's just like everything was shutting down. So many memories, so many good times. You know, that bar, we rented out the day after our wedding, which, you know, I invited you guys to. You had other things going on.
Busy.
Yeah,
Whoops.
it's okay. It happens.
What do you think about maybe the prospect of buying the place?
Buying the
What
place?
if we just teamed up?
The three of us?
Yeah.
What would we name it? Big Cats?
No,
I
Barcoastal.
think we just keep it Barcoastal. Like
Yeah.
you don't stray away from what works, right?
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, if you guys want to put down, you know, the down payment, I'll get you the rest later.
Yeah, you sent us a picture of your wife in a Pardon My Take sweatshirt this morning.
That's right.
You texted us.
Yeah, she said just to tell them that, you know, I'm supporting the brand because you're going on the show
She
tonight.
was. And she's nice.
Congratulations.
She's an attractive woman.
Oh, thank you. I
Yes.
appreciate that. You know,
I mean that with all due respect.
No, I appreciate it, you know, and she'll be the first to tell you that, you know, she knows that she has obviously, you know, her things, that she has stuff, but I came up with a one-liner on Twitter for her too.
Okay.
Alana Rose, credit and forget it.
Credit and forget it?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, I mean, you know, fair enough. Everybody likes their nice things, but, you know, I just, you know, have to teach her that sometimes
Credit
there's
and
boundaries.
forget it. Got it.
You know,
Okay.
but because of her, who is, you know, my best friend, I love her to pieces, she has planned, and you guys will be excited about this, a massive, massive trip to Europe this summer.
Wow.
So I'm no longer going to be able to go into places socially, like, you know, when I'm watching the NFL, because I only watch it socially. I'm no longer going to be able to go into places and say, you know, I've never played golf, I've never had a glass of wine, I've never had a cup of coffee, and I've never been to Europe.
All right.
Because as of right now, we're going to Europe in July.
Okay, so we got to get to two of those things in a second, but give us the quick itinerary. Where are you going in Europe?
Quick itinerary. Well, we have friends.
Is there anything like the, knowing you're going to be like, well, you know, Coach Cal's taking the team to Rome.
Yeah, I thought about that.
Yeah, I know
I
you
thought
did.
about that, especially
Don't
with
do
the
that.
time. Especially with the timing, it's like late July, early August. Like I've talked about that. So we have some friends who are getting married like an hour outside of Paris in July.
Okay.
So we're gonna go to Paris for a couple days and go to that wedding. Then we've got a couple of stops in Italy, which I'm really excited about for the food.
Yep.
There's a restaurant that we're going to go to. We're going to Italy. We're going to Rome, Portofino, and also the Amalfi Coast. Now, there is a restaurant in Portofino, Puny, P-U-N-Y. It's a 3-course restaurant, and one of the options is a pasta with lasagna sheets, tomato sauce, and pesto. Denzel Washington went to this restaurant, okay, and had this pasta for all 3 courses. So when I heard that, I was like, that's a bucket list thing. I have to go to this restaurant in Portofino and have all three courses of that pasta, and then we're gonna go to Mykonos and Santorini after that.
Wow.
You're not going to switch it up though in the courses, like try maybe something besides that.
Potentially, I know I haven't been there yet. I'll text you. I just got international service actually on my cell phone for the first time because you know me, like for a long time, like Canada was anything north of the George Washington Bridge.
Yeah.
Now,
So wait.
what if there's like a highly touted prospect?
Yeah.
Over there.
Well, that's why like I made sure that I had international service so that
Okay.
I could be on my toes for
So
this trip.
you're still going to be kind of working?
Oh yeah, I never shut it off.
Right.
Never shut it off.
Right.
Never shut it off.
Even though we sleep in May.
Yeah, I mean, I say we sleep in May, but that doesn't mean you don't sleep with your phone.
All right, so you're lying to the people.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm lying. I would say, like, after a while, like, you realize you can get a little bit of a reprieve. Because if I ever said we sleep in April, I'd be like, oh, what are you kidding me? The national championship game's on April 4th. But I do have the skeleton ready for my first Rothstein 45 in next season.
Oh, okay.
So, we're going to amend it.
Where's Wisconsin?
Well, it's, what's the next question?
Oh no, we're not in we weren't in Jake's bracket, so I love the doubters and haters. I welcome them.
We've got to prepare though for the transfer portal. We've got to, there's a million things. There's a lot going on.
There's a lot. All right, so
who will be next year's Chris Vogt? No, I'm kidding.
Listen, he puts in some good minutes.
He's a decent bruiser.
Yeah, you need guys like that.
Absolutely.
He did a good job against Purdue at the game we're at. So the other fourth thing, so it was never been trip to Europe, never had a glass of wine, never had a cup of coffee. PFT, you brought something, didn't you?
Yeah, I've got a few things. I've got actually a bottle of wine right here.
Oh.
I opened it
Red
up.
or white?
I uncorked it just for you. It's a 2016. It's a Bordeaux. It's very nice. I splashed it all over myself when I was opening it with a knife.
The cork's in there.
I was thinking that maybe we could share. We could all have a small little glass. I've got
to get on a plane in like 6 hours. I don't want to trouble.
Okay. That's fine. I'll be out of your system in like 20 minutes.
Okay. What about a cup of coffee?
I've never had a cup of coffee.
You want a cup of coffee?
Oh, God. This is unbelievable.
All right, so
I got one of these right here.
if you're not-
Memes brewed it himself.
Yeah. If you're not ready for this right now, can I propose something?
Sure.
Why don't we make a bet on your Final Four? Whatever it may be, we'll get to that when we break it all down. And you're going to be in New Orleans. We're going to be in New Orleans. I think that you can find the appropriate time that you could have both a cup of coffee and a glass of wine with us.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, because I can sense you don't really want to do it right now at 11 p.m. at night.
No, I don't.
Do you want a sip of the wine?
Do you want to smell it? Just smell it.
I don't like it.
Just smell it. Just smell it.
I don't like it.
You don't like it? You never had it.
That's exactly what my 2.5-year-old son sounds like when I'm like, hey, do you want pretty much any food?
Yeah, it smells like the Manischewitz I used to smell at Hebrew school.
So wait, what do you drink when you go out? Just a beer?
Vodka or beer, Tito's.
Yeah.
Dude,
Okay, so all right. Well, let's get to it. Let's go through the bracket, and then we'll figure out what we're gonna do bet wise.
I was going to say, because when you're in Italy, you're going to be at these world-class pasta
Why can't I just
places.
have a Peroni?
They're going to give you wine. Wine will be on the menu there.
Billy's gonna drink that wine right
Okay.
now. Watch him drink it. All right, no more tricks, but I want you to have a cup of coffee
Okay, why?
because I want to see what it does to you.
I'm functioning fine without coffee for all these years. It's almost 4 decades.
What about
Right.
Red Bull? Do you drink Red Bull?
Never Red Bull.
Never caffeine?
Try not to have caffeine.
Cocaine?
No, that's no. Didn't make that either.
Methamphetamines?
No.
Okay, well
Biker
we're gonna figure it out. In New Orleans. I want to see you just a sip of coffee with
A
us.
sip?
Yeah.
Okay, I can do a sip.
Yeah, we'll do a sip of coffee with the
sip.
fellas.
Yeah, sure. I can do a sip of coffee. The wine I don't think is going to stick. The coffee I can maybe try.
But we got a lot of basketball between now and New Orleans.
Now, you know how much basketball we have between now and New Orleans?
How much?
64 games.
64 games. I'm so excited. Where do you want to start? You always break out the bracket in certain.
You guys want to start top left, and then we'll just work our way down? Does that work?
Well, let's ask a couple questions before we get into the bracket. One, who got screwed?
Texas A&M.
Ooh.
I thought that Texas A&M, should have been in the field. I thought the committee did a really, really good job, but I think when you look at what they've did the last couple of days, and I know it's the totality of your resume, but I think having neutral site wins against teams the caliber of an Arkansas and an Auburn compared to everything else, I thought was pretty impressive. I mean, it's interesting, though. The one thing that, I've kind of taken away in like over 15 years on this beat, every single year you see the bubble get softer and softer. And, guys, I've been talking about this for years, and I think it's one thing that we need to look at. And I'm leaving tomorrow for Dayton. I'm, doing the first 4 this year, and I'm excited about it. But I firmly believe that the NCAA should allow all the automatic qualifiers to advance into the round of 64.
Yes.
And then the final 8 at-large teams should be playing in Dayton.
Yes.
And then it gives us an opportunity to really jumpstart the tournament with 4 heavyweight showdowns. I mean, I look at the first 4, and I'm not just saying this because I'm obviously working the games, but Rutgers-Notre Dame is a fascinating matchup.
Yeah.
Wyoming, Hunter Maldonado, Graham Ike against Indiana. I mean, that is a fascinating matchup. If you could add 2 more of those with the last 4 at-large teams, I think it would add a lot of pop to the NCAA tournament.
I also made the point that I hate when the committee puts mid-majors, small schools against each other in the first round.
Yeah.
I think that's terrible. I think it's bad for the sport. Murray State versus San Francisco is a great matchup, but I'd rather see them go up against a big dog.
No doubt. And I think, too, the great thing about the first four, which I love, is standalone games.
Yep.
And standalone games, allow yourself to be showcased at, a much different rate. So I think that's another thing we have to look forward to. And I think, though, one thing I will say is I think because of the matchups we have this year in the first four, the Bryant-Wright State game is an underrated 16 versus 16. And I'll tell you why. Bryant obviously has the nation's top scorer in Peter Kiss. Really interesting player. And Wright State's in Dayton. It's near their campus, so you almost have a pseudo road game. Very rarely in a first four do you get that type of situation.
What do you think, sidebar, Jared Grasso, where's he going to be coaching next year?
Good question. I think, without question, Jared has done one of the great rebuilding jobs in the Northeast. I mean, guys, Bryant was 3 wins when he took over.
Damn.
3.
Damn.
And, they went to the tournament title game last year and lost to Mount St. Mary's. This year, they're obviously champions. I think he's ready. I don't know if he's ready to jump to a power conference, but, if there's a conference, in between, obviously, the NEC in a multi-bid league in the Northeast, he's, ready to do that. And, I just know this from obviously being in the weeds, obviously, in college basketball, it's inside baseball, but he was the recruiting coordinator for those great teams at Iona that I mentioned earlier with Tim Kluse. So
6 out of 9 years.
6 out of 9 years.
MAC,
yeah. So those teams that had Scott Machado, Mike Glover, Momo Jones, Sean Armand, AJ English, David Lowery, those guys, he was the recruiting coordinator and top assistant for those teams.
Okay.
So sidebar,
Yeah.
our good friend, unfortunately, Tom Crean, is no longer
Yeah.
going to be the head coach at Georgia.
Right.
What are the odds Tom Crean gets a head coaching job next year? Do you think he wants to still coach?
I don't know if Tom wants to coach. I think Tom did a great job as a broadcaster in his year out for ESPN. But
Are you on the bubble now?
What? Am I on the bubble?
With Tom Crean now, he could get back into broadcasting.
Yeah, it's a different role. He's a game
Okay,
analyst.
all right,
He's a
okay,
game
okay,
analyst.
okay.
I think he's a game analyst. Different role. That what I provide is a little bit different.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think if Tom wants to coach, I'm sure he could get another coaching job. I don't know if he could get a job in at the caliber of Georgia, but I'm sure he could get another job. I think too, guys. Another thing that we're seeing throughout the landscape of college basketball is there is clear separation between the top 6 conferences, the 5 power conferences, and the Big East, and the rest of the sport. And it's really the haves and the have-nots. And I think every single day that gap widens. Now, do we have years where conferences are outliers? Absolutely. The Mountain West this year getting 4 teams in the NCAA tournament, and one of those teams is not New Mexico and not UNLV.
Yeah.
That's amazing to me. The West Coast Conference having 4 teams in play, getting 3 teams in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
That's a major, major kudos. But that's the exception. It's not the rule. If Richmond doesn't win today on Sunday in the Atlantic 10 tournament title game, A10, and the conference that had 6 bids 8 years ago in 2014, that's a 1-bid league. Side note, Chris Mooney, head coach of Richmond, dead ringer for Judge Reinhold and vice versa. Without question.
Fast times.
Dead ringer. Fast times at Ridgemont High. That vice versa, though, for me. And I just think when you look at college basketball now, I think it's 6 leagues and it's everything else.
So is this the end of the conversation of Gonzaga doesn't play in a real league? Like we've been saying for years, Gonzaga move to the Pac-12.
Right.
Yeah.
If you want to be taken seriously. But now they've got San Francisco, good team, right?
Good team.
St. Mary's, fun team.
Beat Gonzaga.
Yeah.
St. Mary's is like, is comparable to Wisconsin, Big Cat, honestly.
Yeah.
Like they're similar style of play.
White
no
guys.
question.
Just,
Yeah.
You're saying
That's what you're
is that
saying.
code
Yeah,
for
yeah.
white guys?
No, they slow it down, play good defense.
It's like
You're
death
right.
by 1,000 paper cuts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they had a good year this year, but it is a Mickey Mouse conference. Gonzaga needs to go to the Pac-12.
Okay.
All right, should we do it? Get into it.
We're not talking about anything personal. I haven't seen you in 2 years. You want to ask any other questions? I thought of you guys, though, because, and you guys could appreciate this. I have this neighbor that's like Rico Bosco. It's like gum on my shoe. And she always complains. So I find out, I come home a couple of weeks ago, and my wife's like, we have a problem. And I'm like, well, what's the issue? It's like our neighbor wrote a letter to the board in our building that there is, yelling and screaming and a loud TV like late at night and or whatever. It's like if I wasn't in the studio. And, like, they're really threatening right now to continue to complain about what's going on. And I just responded and I said, not enough people know the importance and the impact of the Mountain West being a 4-bid league.
So was it you yelling?
Yes. I mean, what do you think, man? I mean, you've seen the Mountain West
Those
this year?
games are-
David Roddy,
Oh,
Hunter
man.
Maldonado, San Diego State. Matt Bradley's a little bit like, Tom Hanks and Castaways on an island on his own. I mean, where's Jordan Shackle when you need him?
It was, the Mountain West was crazy this year.
Crazy, incredible crowds, and
Every
like,
game
and,
was
and-
tight.
and like I said, when I think of the Mountain West Cat and PFT, I think of 2013, 9 years ago, 5 bids. UNLV, Anthony Bennett. Obviously, Steve Alford had those teams in New Mexico. Tony Snell, Alex Kirk, Cam Bairstow, Kendall Williams, Hugh Greenwood. Now, that team didn't go far in the NCAA tournament. They lost to Harvard. Remember, that was the year in 2013 when Harvard's 2 best players, Brandon Curry and Kyle Casey, had to withdraw from school. They put Siani Chambers into the starting lineup, and the rest is history. They went to the round of 32.
Of course, who could forget?
When that happened, that was the Mountain West, and the Mountain West took a little hiatus, and it's back now. And there's the crazy thing. The Mountain West, they've got obviously a television relationship with us at CBS. They got a relationship with Fox. It has a better television deal than the Pac-12.
Yeah. No, the Pac-12, not being able to watch the first 2 rounds of the Pac-12 tournament
Brutal.
is insane.
Brutal. And the Pac-12 is a good league in terms of its brands. It hasn't had good representation in the NCAA tournament. Like I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. There were more Pac-12 teams in the Sweet 16 last year than there are in the NCAA tournament this year.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, they
Think
had a
about
great
that.
run.
Well, let's start there. So Pac-12, Conference of Champions, as
Yeah.
Bill Walton. Did he just invent that?
Yeah.
No, it's been around for a while.
It's been around for a while, but I mean, it's
He
a
brought
little-
it back.
He brought it back.
He brought it back to the forefront.
brought
Who do you like out of that conference? Obviously, Arizona, great team, but
Yeah.
I guess it's a leading question because I really want to know UCLA. Do they have it in them? Are they going to be able to make a run like they did?
I think they're going to be able to make a run. I think things set up pretty well for UCLA. So should we go through?
Yeah, let's go through. I should say, on a personal level, this is a great moment for this show and for humanity because the last time you were in here was right when everything got
Yes.
canceled. You came in. We were all downtrodden. You said, this too shall pass.
Yes.
We are now 2 years past COVID.
Yeah.
It feels like, last year was fun, but it wasn't a real tournament.
No.
Because you didn't have all the different sites and fans and everything.
And I was there for 26 days in that bubble.
Yeah, you were. You were doing hard work in the bubble. And this now feels like we got it. Like,
Yeah.
we're back.
This too shall pass, and this too has passed.
It has passed.
Retweet
yes.
that.
Yes. Okay, right now?
Well, if you want to. I mean, I
Okay,
give
all
you a
right.
Verbal
Okay,
retweet.
retweet that?
This
Verbal
too-
retweet.
This too shall pass.
This too shall pass.
Hashtag
All right,
John.
let's do it. Top left. Go
Okay,
for it.
well, I look at this region, the West region, and I see Gonzaga with Chet Holmgren. I see Duke having
Too
5.
skinny.
No,
Can I
Slim
finish
Reaper.
my soiree?
Slim Reaper.
All right, sorry.
I read
sorry.
it. Guys, I worked on this. Okay, in,
Okay,
the,
sorry,
in the car
sorry,
down here.
sorry.
And you're cutting me
Yeah,
off.
you're right. We're excited about the bracket too.
Okay,
Go.
because I got to do the names first.
Yeah.
So I look at Gonzaga with Chet Holmgren. I see Duke having potentially 5 first-round picks in their starting 5. Notre Dame has Blake Wesley. Obviously, Memphis has Jalen Duren. The West region is the region of prospects.
Ooh.
Okay. Wait,
So-
I'm going to just cross this out.
I like that. JD Note's in there.
Yeah. I see the region of prospects. So, obviously, Gonzaga moving on against Georgia State. Boise State, Memphis, to me, looks like the ultimate 50-50 game. I'm going to give a slight edge to Memphis just because of how Boise State has struggled offensively, especially we saw that yesterday against San Diego State. UConn against New Mexico State. New Mexico State has 2 capable scorers. Teddy Allen, last year at Nebraska, year before, or a couple years ago at Nebraska, also played, West Virginia to start his career. Serge Jabari Rice, another guard, obviously, that's capable, but I've got UConn beating them, setting up a UConn-Arkansas round of 32 game, which could be one of the best games of the upcoming weekend. Alabama has been a feast or famine team all year long. They're going to play the winner of Rutgers, Notre Dame. I look at what Rutgers did in the Big Ten. Obviously, they won a game at Wisconsin. Caleb McConnell did a great job on
We
Johnny
beat them
Davis.
there.
Fair enough. I'm just giving you the context.
At the rack.
Okay, I'm giving you the context. I got Rutgers beating Notre Dame and Rutgers beating Alabama.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm taking Rutgers twice. Steve Peichel pounding nails. And then Mark Adams, though, he plays them. The defense never rests. And I got Texas Tech over Montana State, coached by Danny Sprinkle. Then the Michigan State.
Danny Sprinkle.
Yeah, that's the head coach's name. Michigan State against Davidson. The storyline within that game is this. Foster Lawyer, started his career at Michigan State. Now he's at Davidson. He has made significantly more three-point shots this year than he did the first 3 years of his college career. I've got a Michigan State-Duke round of 32, which would be a dream game for television next weekend. So I got Duke moving on against Michigan State, Duke playing Texas Tech, then UConn beating Arkansas, hooking up with Gonzaga. UConn falls to Gonzaga. Texas Tech falls to Duke. Will Duke beat Gonzaga in the regional final? They beat them once already. I'm going to take the Zags, and Coach K's career ends at the Chase Center. So Gonzaga over Duke in the regional final of the region of prospects.
I love it. As long as Duke loses.
Yeah.
Do you think this is kind of fun, what Coach K's doing, where he's like traveling around the country losing?
I've got a feeling after what you just told me about, what's the quarterback's name again?
Tom Brady.
Shut up.
I started to think, like, what if he unretired?
I would love it. Personally, I'm going to miss Coach K. He's been the greatest heel in my life.
You think he's a heel?
Oh, yeah. Duke is one of those things where I don't trust anyone who doesn't have a strong opinion on them.
Yeah.
Either you love them or you hate them.
Right. I think here's an interesting thing because obviously he set the standard for college basketball. And you, like you said, probably the best coach of our generation.
I never said that.
What? Well, all right, fine. You're still a little salty about 2015.
I never said
Well, no,
that.
I mean,
I
the
never
facts
said
are the
that. Roy
facts,
Williams.
and when
Yeah,
you look
go
at what
PFT.
happened in the ACC, you compare them from when Roy Williams got to UNC, he straight up outcompeted Coach K. The results were better for the Tar Heels since that time. You can't argue
Fair.
with it.
But you have to
more
look at
Final
the-
Fours.
But you have to look
more
at the, you have to look at the
championships,
totality. The
more
totality.
regular season ACC titles. It's not even close.
Okay, you have to look at the totality of the resume, which I bring this point up. And again, it's speculating on speculation, which I hate to do. But if Rick Pitino never left Kentucky, and if Rick Pitino was still at Kentucky, I mean, you think about that, I always think that he would be the one in terms of all-time wins, all-time national championships,
Probably right.
everything.
Great
Because
coach.
you think about it, this was the trajectory at Kentucky. 93, you go 92, you lose on the Leitner shot. 93, you go to the Final Four, you lose in overtime to the Fab Five. 94, you lose to Marquette in the second round. 95, you lose 74-61 to North Carolina in a regional final. 96, you win a national championship 76-67 against Syracuse in the Meadowlands. 97, you lose 84-79 to Arizona in Indianapolis in the national championship game, and then you take the Celtics job.
Yeah. He would have been
Yeah.
He would have been an all-timer.
But the fact remains that Roy Williams was a stronger head coach.
Then Rick Pitino? If he stayed at Kentucky?
Then
No.
Coach K.
It's 5-3. It's tough to make that argument. And in 1991, Duke beat Kansas when Roy Williams was there, 72-65 in the national championship game. 91.
That's ancient
shit,
history. I'm talking
shit.
about when Roy Williams arrived at UNC.
Okay, well, I mean, you have to count the Kansas part of his career.
Well, that's because the Big 12 was legitimate, and he had to go through a gauntlet to get there.
Fair enough. Should we go keep going down?
Yeah,
the
okay.
Well, you
Okay.
kind of glossed over our darling Jake's Catamounts against Arkansas.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan Davis, Jake, no offense, but I mean, the Jalen Williams matchup is not advantageous,
America's Player of the Year 2 times.
I know he's America's East Player of the Year, but unfortunately, there is no Taylor Coppenrath, there is no Teaching Soren.
There's Ben Shungu.
I know there is, but
Oh, let's go. We got a name off.
fair
we
enough.
got a name off.
But I mean, you're not telling me that people in Burlington are going to compare Finn Sullivan to Jermaine Mopagila. in
But
a couple
Finn
years
Sullivan can shoot. He can get hot.
He can shoot, but he's going to be guarded by Devo Davis or JT Note. Next region.
Oh,
Oh,
man. Name off.
All right, I quote tweet every time you tweet, Vermont basketball, very cool.
Yeah, I
Jake Marks the
appreciate that.
future. All right?
Yeah.
He's coming at me. Him and Rico, you got to watch out for them.
Well, Rico's gum on your shoe.
It's incredible.
I know. You can't get rid of him.
Rico call you and be like, bro, just want to tip you off with a scoop. I'm thinking is this realignment? Is this something big? He's like, yo, I heard from source with a source. There's gonna be a lot more hook and holds this year. I was like, what does that do for me, Rico?
He's a big rules guy.
yeah, big rules
Huge
guy.
rules guy.
Big rules guy.
All right, East.
The East,
I think East is the toughest. What
Well,
do you think?
I look at the East region and I look at the high seeds. Baylor, defending national champion. 2 seed, Kentucky's Kentucky. Purdue, one of the great brands in the Big Ten. Texas is Texas. And UCLA and North Carolina also in the top half of that region. This is the region of branding.
Yeah, I was going to say Texas is Texas, but that just means
That's
that
a
they're
mean thing to
probably
say.
going to lose in the first round.
But Texas is still a brand.
Texas is Texas.
So I've got Baylor beating Norfolk State, North Carolina against Marquette, rematch of the 77 national title game, Al McGuire's last game. I got the Tar Heels moving on there. And I've got St. Mary's beating Indiana. I like Indiana over Wyoming and Dayton.
I do too.
UCLA obviously beating Akron. And I'm going to take Virginia Tech over Texas.
Oh.
I like their body language a little bit more. Purdue.
Oh, that's just strictly body language.
Yeah, I think that's a
Well,
big thing.
Yeah, when they
Okay.
shoot the ball against Duke, it went in a lot.
Yeah,
Their
body language
was-
game.
was
I
great.
like
Yep.
this.
Body
Body
language.
language
Yep.
game.
I like their body language a little bit better right now. Murray State over San Francisco, setting up an interesting game, Cat, because if it's Murray State against Kentucky in the state of Kentucky, That would be an incredible game. Kentucky would have nothing to gain from that game, but obviously have to play it other than going to the Sweet 16.
Civil War.
Yeah.
Baylor.
The two best college basketball schools in the state of Kentucky.
Well,
Kentucky and Murray State.
Because Louisville is in Louisville State right now.
Well, I'm just saying. Kentucky and Murray State.
Fair. Baylor over UNC, UCLA over St. Mary's, Purdue over Virginia Tech, and then Kentucky. I've got a UCLA-Kentucky regional final. I got the Cats moving on out of the region of Branding. So I've got Gonzaga playing Kentucky right now.
Wow. I like that for my futures.
Okay.
I got Kentucky and UCLA futures.
Okay. Like it.
So that would be a nice game for me.
Dig it. Now, top right, we're going to go and we're going to look at the South region. Now, I look at the South region, and I see Arizona.
I don't like that that's top right, by the way.
Okay.
South should be in the bottom, should it not?
Well, I mean, fair enough.
Colorado is kind of in the middle.
True.
Yeah.
Colorado State. Well, I look at that region, guys, and I see Ben Mathurin, okay, at Arizona, stud. I see Kofi Coburn, Illinois, stud. I see David Roddy. I see Hunter Dickinson. I see Kennedy Chandler. I see Colin Gillespie. This is the region. This is the region of star power.
Ooh. Okay. Question on Arizona.
Yeah.
Is Kerr going to play?
Yeah, I think he'll.
He's in a walking boot.
No, I know. I believe Kirk Creases can play. And honestly, I was so impressed that they were trailing UCLA without him and came back. Arizona is the most aesthetically pleasing team in college basketball. They're also the biggest team in college basketball. And even though UCLA beat them once at Pauley, Arizona still dominated them on the glass. I've got Arizona beating TCU. I think TCU is underrated, and TCU beats Seton Hall.
TCU also a very big team. They got some length.
Eddie
they got
Lampkin,
some size. Yes.
Emmanuel Miller. No, Jamie Dixon's done a really good job there.
When you say biggest team, do you mean height or do you mean
height?
Do you mean length or strength?
Kind of a combination of both, PFT. I mean, Tubelis and obviously Koloko are tremendous up front. Koloko's the most improved player in the country. Ballo, the transfer from Gonzaga, is also adding insurance upside. And, Mathurin and Terry are tough on the wings.
I think I know where you're going with this.
So
Gonzaga versus Arizona, the student
can I
versus
finish?
pupil.
Can I finish it first?
Championship game. Okay, go ahead.
You're freaking trying to finish Godfather 2 before they get Fredo on the boat here.
What about Godfather 3?
What? We don't pretend like that exists. Well, why are you bringing it up? That's one of the rules. Don't mess with the rules. So then I've got Illinois over Houston. Now, Arizona beat Illinois in early December in what was the first real statement that Arizona could be a national player this year under Tommy Lloyd. That rematch would be fascinating theater if we get it.
That was at the United Center, right?
Champaign.
Oh, that wasn't Champaign. Yeah.
So
I bet that game I lost.
I like that in the Sweet 16. I'm going to take Michigan in an 11-6 win over Colorado State.
Ugh.
And I've got Tennessee marching on past Michigan. The world's going to pick Loyola Chicago, but I think Ohio State is being criminally underrated in this game.
They've been limping.
They've been limping. They're banged up, but Chris Holtman, more meticulous than a forensics officer, is going to be dialed in. He's coached in a lot of NCAA tournament games. Drew Valentine hasn't coached in any NCAA tournament games. The world's picking Loyola Chicago. I'm taking Ohio State to win one. Villanova, Tennessee in the Sweet 16, Arizona, Illinois. I've got Villanova marching on to hook up with Arizona in the regionals of the region of star power, and I got Arizona going to a Final Four.
Okay, so it's setting it up. Okay.
So I got Arizona, Gonzaga, Kentucky. Then I look at this region, bottom right, the Midwest.
Wait, real quick.
Yeah.
In the star power region, there was one star that you left off.
Who?
Oh,
Jelly Walker.
Yeah, what the hell?
Jelly Walker.
How did you not bring up Jelly Walker?
Well, he's a 12 seed right now.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he's not a 12 seed. He's
on a 12
He's a
seed.
1
He's
seed.
on a.
Well, I didn't want to get too much in the weeds. Because
No, let's
not
talk
the
Jelly
weeds.
Walker.
Jelly
Let's talk
Walker.
about UAB.
All right.
That's our team now. Just so you know. We bet him on Friday in the triple overtime thriller. We went back to the well with Jelly Walker on Saturday. Can we get John a water?
Yeah.
There is
We
one.
got some wine.
Wine? No, it's all right. Water would be good.
Coffee or wine is the only thing. Oh, is that yours on your foot? No. That's
There was a water? I'm all for toots over here. I'm starting to get verklempt.
That's okay. Where? That one already has.
You got a Poland
someone drink
Spring or
out of
anything?
it. Yeah, we got one. We got one.
Get you
coming.
fresh water.
Wait, so Jelly Walker though, he's electric.
He is electric. And it's ironic, Andy Kennedy has leaned in and used the transfer portal really, I think, as aggressively as any coach so far, at the mid-major level. And you look at their roster guys, KJ Buffin came from Ole Miss. Trey Jemison came from Clemson. Obviously, Jelly
KJ
Walker.
Buffin's number 5, who we were motherfucking the other night.
What about Ertl?
Ertl's
Ertl's a
electric.
good player.
Lights out.
He's made a ton of threes in the Conference USA tournament.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Ertl's a good player. And this team, again, has played high majors this year. They played West Virginia, came up a little short, wasn't vintage West Virginia, but they won't be intimidated by Houston. But
You don't have them? You don't have Jelly Walker doing some crazy shit?
Well, again, am I going to bet on Jelly Walker or am I going to bet on Kelvin Sampson to be in a situation?
Jelly Walker is the answer.
Okay, all right.
Jelly Walker.
You want to die on that hill? I'll send you a postcard.
We will revisit this conversation
Okay.
once Jelly. You will be converted to the Jelly fam.
If you don't know about us and hills that we've died on,
Yeah.
there are a lot of them. There's an entire mountain range named after us at this point.
Fair enough.
Jelly fam will be coming for you, and we have receipts now.
Yeah, we
Clip
do.
this up, and
Well,
we'll be playing it back.
Just tell me, if you were to say hypothetically, do you think that UAB is going to lose by fewer than 9 points? What would you say?
Text me. I'll let you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hypothetically.
Interesting.
Now, bottom right, I see a Kansas team that, for all intents and purposes, has played great down the stretch. But for as good as Ochai Agbaji is, I don't see one of Bill Self's best teams, most talented teams. I see a 2 seed in Auburn that has had sporadic guard play all season. I see a Wisconsin team that has overachieved, won a share of the Big Ten regular season title, but also lost at home to Nebraska,
Playing great basketball.
and also lost early in the Big Ten tournament to a vulnerable Michigan State
Johnny
team.
Davis' ankle.
And then I see a Providence team that's 25-5, but was 11-2 this season in games decided by 5 points or less, and was ambushed, destroyed, and powerbombed through a table like Eric Bischoff at the 1996 Great American Bash by Creighton at the Big East
But
tournament.
isn't that a good thing if they're 11? I know what you're saying. Like 11-2, they play
They
a lot
have
of
been
close games.
in more close.
Their record is not.
I don't think the
they're not
ceiling
blowing
is very
anybody
high
out.
for Providence. So I look at
But
those.
isn't there something to be said about winning close games?
Definitely.
Repeatedly.
That's why Ed Cooley to me is the national coach of the year, because he doesn't have an all Big East first team player on his team, and he's 25-5. That team, to me, like I'm looking at it, if those are your top 4 seeds, this is the region of vulnerability. And this is the region, the Midwest region. If you're going to go off the radar in your Final Four pick, this is the region to take it. So let's look at it. I've got Kansas and Creighton hooking up in the round of 32, so I like Creighton over San Diego State. Iowa beating Richmond, interesting first-round game. And, guys, I got to tell you, not enough people are looking at South Dakota State and Baylor Shireman, who really reminds me of Thomas Walkup, who used to play for Stephen F. Austin, who beat West Virginia in 2016 when Brad Underwood was the head coach. South Dakota State has not lost a game, since early December. They've won 30 games. They shoot just under 45% from 3 as a team. I'm taking South Dakota State over Providence.
Oh, no.
I've got Iowa State over LSU and Wisconsin advancing, USC over Auburn. I've got then Wisconsin over Auburn in the Elite Eight.
Whoa.
And I've got Iowa beating South Dakota State and Kansas. And then I have an all Big Ten regional final.
Whoa.
And I've got Keegan Murray at Iowa going to the Final Four. Keegan Murray in the Big Ten tournament averaged 28-8. Why aren't more people talking about Keegan Murray as the best player in college basketball, at least from the perimeter spot? You know what? When you look at him and you split the atom and you look at him number by number versus a guy like Jabari Smith, I'm not saying he's a better long-term prospect because that's not really my business, but right now, if you took Keegan Murray and put him on a blue blood, Michigan State, Duke, even Indiana or Ohio State, the perception would be different.
Ohio State's not a blue blood.
I mean, they're still a brand.
But they're not a blue blood.
Fine. Kansas.
Okay.
Kansas,
Now I'm back with
Kentucky.
you. Yes.
But with a more well-known brand, Michigan, the perception would be different. Keegan Murray was 11 of 18 from 3 in the Big Ten tournament. So I'm rolling the dice there. So I've got Iowa, Arizona, Gonzaga, Kentucky. I've got Arizona over Iowa and Gonzaga over Kentucky, setting up teacher against student,
shit.
Tommy Lloyd against Mark Few. And for the first time since 1997, Tommy Lloyd in year 1 wins a national championship. Ben Mathurin explodes in the NCAA tournament like a volcano, has the ability to captivate a country and captivate a nation, much like Dwayne Wade did 19 years ago at Marquette when he got 29, 11, and 11 against Kentucky in a regional final.
Wow.
So you've got Gonzaga. That would be losing 2 national championships in a row.
2 in a row and 3 since 2017.
So Lloyd, he's got deep ties
Yes.
to the Northwest, right? You think eventually he could get poached from Arizona if for whatever reason?
No, Arizona's a destination job.
For him?
Yes.
Because I could see for him wanting to go back home. He helped build that program.
No, I know, but he's he's doing it his own way. He's been very classy too, because he inherited a really good team and he's paid homage to Sean Miller who put the team together. So it's a good look. for him.
Sean Miller did all the dirty work.
Yeah.
So going back to the Midwest, the regional vulnerability, you've got Wisconsin, Auburn, second round. Did you say that you have Wisconsin?
Third round,
Yeah,
you
Sweet
have
16.
You have Wisconsin beating Auburn
Yes,
in that game?
yes.
Why? Why do you not trust Auburn?
I think when you look at a team with like Wisconsin, who can manage the pace, very underrated piece in Chucky Hepburn, who's had a very, very good freshman year.
I just need Chucky the heat checks that Chucky goes on sometimes. They're good, but they're also
No doubt. But Wisconsin, an extremely physical team, a team that again is not going to foul, doesn't really turn it over that much, and again Auburn it's the polar opposite, guys, of the Auburn team that we saw go to the Final Four in 2019. That team with Jared Harper and Bryce Brown was led and anchored by an electric backcourt. This Auburn team has a dynamite, an unbelievable 4-5 with Jabari Smith and Walker Kessler. But the guard play right now, and we saw this against Texas A&M in the SEC tournament, Zep Jasper, Wendell Green, and KD Johnson were combined 7 of 34 in the field from that game.
Yeah.
Leave a lot to be desired.
All right. Here's what I'm going to say. So you got Gonzaga versus Arizona in your championship game. I think if Gonzaga or Arizona, either or of those two teams, aren't in New Orleans when we're in New Orleans, you got to drink a cup of coffee. Okay. And what do we have to do if they're both there?
I'll drink a glass of wine.
Yeah.
I've never had one in my life.
No, they're just,
I'll go on a date with your wife.
What? Easy, bro.
Whoa.
Easy, bro.
All right, what do we have to do?
I'll drink a hand grenade.
No, I don't want you to do that. I like you too much.
I'll drink 2 hand grenades.
Come meet me up at the Supply House. We'll have some sweet potato fries.
Okay.
I love the sweet potato fries at the Supply House.
So we'll have to eat sweet potato fries if we lose.
I like that.
Damn. You got us again, Jon Rothstein.
So John, you know a lot of these coaches. You interact with a lot of them.
Yeah.
Who's the one guy this year that's going to be the coach that makes a name for himself, and everybody starts talking about him? The next time a big job.
Great
comes
question.
Really good question,
Thank
PFT.
you.
I think, and he's not getting that much attention, I think, right now just because they're, not in obviously a well-known league. But I think, when you look at the resume of Eric Henderson at South Dakota State and the amount that he's won, like a lot of people, and this is, I know, again, in the weeds and very inside basketball, but last year South Dakota State was expected to win the Summit League. Oral Roberts went from the Summit League. Max A. Smith obviously blew up in the NCAA tournament, but in the regular season that was the best team. Now you've got a team again that's won 30 games going in the tournament, guys. 30, haven't lost since December. I think Eric Henderson, if he can win this game against Providence, has got a real chance to move the needle. I also think the world of Lamont Paris, who is an assistant at Wisconsin for the Final Four runs in 14 and 15. He's the head coach of Chattanooga. He's got a very good nucleus, Malachi Smith, and also Silvio De Souza, the Kansas transfer, inside. So they're going to match up with Illinois. It's a tough first-round matchup, but I look at him as being a guy, as a 13 seed that can make a real name for himself. Chattanooga has a tough draw there, but yeah, those are two guys I think that would have a chance. I'm looking elsewhere now around the bracket. I mean, Jeff Linder's done a great job at Wyoming. That's a standalone game and a standalone opportunity. We have an interesting battle of up-and-coming coaches in the 7-10 game between Todd Golden of San Francisco and Matt McMahon of Murray State. James Jones, the head coach at Yale, who won the Ivy League this year, I don't think he's gotten the credit for what he's done at Yale. This is his third NCAA tournament. This is not, though, one of the best teams that he's had.
He had a really good team a couple of years ago.
Really good team a couple of years ago. Like, if this team had Paul Atkinson, who's at Notre Dame now, or Jordan Bruner, who was at Alabama. Those kids came from Yale. If they had a guy like that up front to go with Azar Swain and Jalen Gabanon in the backcourt, I would feel differently. But I think that the lack of size for Yale against Purdue is going to be really, really tough to overcome.
How stressful is it now, like every year when you have to learn all new names?
No, you just get used to it, man.
Yeah, what do you do, though? Do you sit down and you just go over the roster?
I think that the rosters change right now because of immediate eligibility with the transfer portal, that I just think, you're constantly looking at teams in the offseason, what their lineup might be. And then, once the season starts, I do stuff in the offseason where there's previews and you have like grids where you're like, well, this is what their lineup might be. And, you just start working it every day. It's a labor of love.
What's the most recent name that you've learned?
The most recent name that I've learned, That's a fascinating question. I mean, I'm always just absorbing, so I don't really.
What team did you not have the most intel on that ended up in the bracket?
I would say Wright State. I looked at a lot because I didn't expect them to be in the title game of the Horizon League, and I really started to learn more about Grant Basile and the guys on that team. And they're actually playing in Dayton against Bryant, which is interesting to me, like I said, because you've got the nation's leading scorer in Peter Kiss going against Wright State, who's obviously from nearby Dayton. So that is a different type of first four game, in my opinion, when you're looking at the 16 seeds. But, guys, I'll say it again. It's something that I think, should be talked about more and more leading up to the NCAA tournament. It would be better if we see the final 8 at large teams in this NCAA tournament kicking things off. And if somebody is good enough to win an automatic qualifier, put them in the round of 64.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yes.
Because like, again, what's the difference if we're looking at it right now and we're splitting the atom a little bit? Like, what is the difference if we're going to see Delaware as a 14 versus a 15?
Yeah.
And they get bumped down a line.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, don't give these kids an asterisk next to their postseason
get in.
appearance.
Yeah.
Get into the dance.
No question.
Let them play. There's something about being a 16 seed and playing a 1 seed that's fun.
And the dynamic of that has changed dramatically since UMBC.
Yeah. Well, not really, because that was the only team that's ever won.
No, but you can't say like, well, this has never happened
Right.
before.
No, you're right. You're right.
I think there's some validity to that.
It used to be like the teams that kept it close in the second half was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
What was it? Holy Cross in Kansas.
Yeah.
What year was that?
Well, there was also a Purdue-Weber State game, I want to say, in 96, and then Weber State lost to Purdue, and then Purdue lost to Georgia when Tubby Smith was the coach, who then lost to Syracuse 83-81 when John Wallace made a 3 in the final seconds. Syracuse went on to the Final Four and lost to Kentucky.
So you said that
Damn.
you said A&M was the biggest snub, or
Yeah.
the biggest what's going on here moment for you. What about Tennessee? I've been very angry about Tennessee getting
With the seed? Yeah, I thought Tennessee, probably should have been a 2, and I could have seen Duke on the 3 line. I got to tell you, obviously A&M played well enough, and I thought it had, made a case to get to the tournament, but just a brutal, brutal turn of events for Xavier. If they win that triple overtime game at Providence a couple weeks ago, they're in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, they really kind of flubbed at the end. It sucks because Buzz Williams, who we're friends with, he red-pilled his entire team. I don't know if did you see that, PFT?
No.
He said after they beat Auburn, he's like, what do you attribute this to? And he's like, I have the Matrix. I've given my entire team the red pill, not realizing what it means online.
Yeah, waking
But he's
them
like,
up.
I give them truth every day, and he has a shirt that says like every day we take the red pill.
No, I like that.
Yeah.
He should be in. Stop the steal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Count all the votes.
Get him in.
I hear you, bro.
All right. So who is the best coach in your mind in a Power 6 conference that doesn't get talked about enough?
Best coach in a Power 6, so we're saying like the Big East. I got to tell you, I've been incredibly, impressed with what Greg McDermott has done at Creighton. I knew he was obviously, a great coach in a long time, but guys, Ryan Nembhard was a special freshman for them. I went out and saw them practice, and I watched Nembhard at the FIBA U19 World Cup in Latvia this past summer. And he was freshman of the year in the Big East. He was somebody you could see like eventually being an All-American and the Player of the Year. He breaks his wrist against St. John's a couple of weeks ago, and Creighton still advances all the way to the Big East tournament, title game. I've been blown away. And again, here's the thing too, and Creighton is not, with all due respect, a blue blood program. They went to the Sweet 16 last year and lost 5 starters.
Right.
So
They got AOC.
yeah.
I was a little nervous when they showed Greg McDermott giving a speech in the locker room. Like, we shouldn't have a live mic on Greg McDermott in the locker room.
Gotcha.
He didn't drop a P word this time, did he?
No, he did not.
What?
I like
when John just goes,
takes a
okay.
sip when he just dance around anything.
This is not a conversation I have on CBS.
Yeah. Not gonna go there.
All right, so
man.
so who's your favorite player to watch in this tournament, and why is it Jelly Wash?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I'm Benedict Mathurin.
Okay.
Benedict
You're
Mathurin.
high on Arizona. You're high on South Dakota State. You're high on Gonzaga.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, I wouldn't say that's it. I look at it. I think obviously I've talked a lot about Mathurin here. Favorite player to watch. Yeah, I love all 68 teams.
You love every player.
Yeah.
I wish they could. None
You
of
love
them
every
would
name.
lose.
Jaime Jaquez.
Okay.
Jaime Jaquez, and he's been playing great for
He's fun to say.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
was about to say, what's your favorite name to say?
Zach Edey.
The
Yao Ming of college basketball.
Zach Edey, I feel bad
disagree.
for him. My take is I feel bad for him.
Why?
Because he doesn't look like he's having any fun out there. He's so big, and it's like he just gets banged on.
David
and-
Roddy.
Yeah, David Roddy's fun.
Big body David Roddy.
Yeah.
We got a lot of respect for Colin Gillespie. Keegan Murray.
Yeah.
Keegan
he's
Murray
been
has
awesome.
just, Keegan Murray has just been
Are those the best brothers in the tournament?
Iowa basketball, the family business.
Well, I'm just saying they got 2 sets. Wisconsin has a set.
Yeah, Iowa's
Who else
definitely
has-
better than Wisconsin.
We got-
I think, too.
Who else has brothers?
We got any twins this year?
Well, Keegan Murray and Chris Murray.
Yeah.
Chris Murray is not, people, when they first heard that, Keegan Murray's brother was playing Iowa, it's like, oh, well, he just must be kind of throwing. No, he is a real dude, and that guy completely changes them when he goes to a small ball 5 because he can stretch the defense from the 5 spot. Like, it's amazing to me, and again, this would go to your really, I think, question here in terms of a guy who, doesn't get enough credit. I mean, how about Fran McCaffrey losing Luka Garza and Joe Wieskamp?
Yeah.
And now winning the Big Ten
Oh,
tournament
yeah.
at
Jordan
Iowa.
Bohannon for the 9th year.
Yeah. Well, he's 28.
Yeah. It's like Brad Davison when they're chanting one more year after.
And Kat, and I think you look at it too, that COVID year is going to change college basketball for the next couple of seasons because, we're seeing, that name, image, and likeness, which was long overdue. There's more of an incentive right now for kids to stay in school if they're not going to be first-round picks. So I think, one of the stories, guys, too, for this tournament and for this season is, you look at college basketball, and there's never been more great players. Remember the year in 2006? Well, it's J.J. Redick and Adam Morrison. Remember, a couple of years ago, well, it's Obi Toppin or it's Luka Garza. Now, you've got 10, 12, 13, 14 really, really good players.
Would you say that right now we're living in the golden age of college basketball?
I wouldn't say that. I'd say there's a number of really, really good players.
Yeah,
dude.
so, but you would say that NIL is good for the sport.
Yeah, no question.
All right, so my last question is actually I'm going to pass the torch here. Oh, no, we don't do that because it's a takeover of Visible. Thank you, Jake. The future, he's doing a my
Jake
bad.
Marsh.
Jake Marsh, I'm going to let Jake Marsh end this interview with a question. Let you guys just kind of duel, looking in the mirror. Are you intimidated by Jake Marsh?
No, I'm happy you introduced us, though. He's a great American.
Yeah, I think you are a little bit. He is the future.
John, which double-digit seed do you think has the best chance to get to the Sweet 16?
Ooh. Rutgers.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh, that's a lame answer.
What is it? All but 1 year a team has gone, or at least to the round of 32.
At least around 32.
Yeah. All right.
That's your question? You got others? Any others?
The future. He's got to work on the present.
No.
Yikes. Yikes.
Oh, no.
He's just all over the place, crushing me tonight.
Nah, come on.
No, that's what John does. He wouldn't do that if he didn't feel a little bit threatened by you, Jake.
Yeah,
He's
this
gotta
is
put his
good. That
foot
was
on
a
your throat.
compliment.
That's fair. Any top 4 seeds lose in the first round?
The round of 64?
Yeah.
Ooh, good
Or
question.
you said one already. You said South Dakota State. Any others?
Oh, you don't mean like the 4 number ones.
Yeah.
Top 4 seeds lose in the first round. I'm not picking that. I mean, I know you want me to say Vermont, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would say your best chance for one of those upsets is South Dakota State.
Okay.
Okay.
I've got a dumb question. So a lot of these schools that we talked about, especially in the Mountain West, they play at altitude.
Yeah.
Right? You always hear about altitude when it comes to football.
Yeah.
Players getting tired.
Yeah.
They can't handle it. They can't get their second wind. Does that also happen indoors? When you're
The
playing
Colorado
basketball?
Utah trip in the Pac-12 back-to-back, people always say, yeah, the altitude's crazy on that trip. That's the time you most hear it.
Yeah.
Those games back-to-back in the Pac-12.
Okay. I'm just dumb, and I think, the game's being played inside. It's probably not altitude.
Fair enough. We're all human.
Yeah. Oh, wow. He just called you a
I know.
fucking
He's just
moron.
alphing everybody.
I'm not alving. I'm just saying
No,
we're
you
human.
alphaed Jake. You alphaed me. You said Big Cat can't date your wife.
Yeah, it's
All right.
bullshit.
He's just very angry.
Well, I mean, I'm not asking to date your wife.
Okay, well, that's fine. If you said it, I would have been like, okay, fine, go ahead.
Yeah.
I think it speaks volumes about a relationship.
Yeah.
We got a pineapple on the
Should we
floor. over
swap?
here.
You want
What?
to swap?
Well, why don't we do a double date first?
Oh, man. All right, Jon Rothstein, you are the best. We love you.
Love you too.
Best time of year?
Yeah.
Without a doubt, this or Feast Week?
Oh, this.
Not even close.
I love
This.
Feast
And guys,
Week.
let's just be happy that, we have, a real NCAA tournament. Like, last year was great that we had one, but there's just so many good vibes right here. We're doing this right down the street from Madison Square Garden. By the way, remember a couple years ago when the Big Ten tournament was at the Garden?
Terrible.
It was like the San Gennaro feast being held in Milwaukee. It made no
Yes,
sense.
exactly what I said.
It made no sense. No, I mean, it's just great that we have the pageantry back, everything that should be associated with the NCAA tournament. Let's not take this for granted. It's the best 3 weeks in sports. There is no debate. Dreams will be shattered. Dreams will obviously be made. The unexpected will become the ordinary. This is March.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Thank you, John. We love you.
Thanks, John.
Love you too.